Yeah, what we're building is a brand.
Yeah.
We don't need a brand to ride on.
Right.
We're the brand.
Yep.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to our show. Today we're switching things up a little bit.
Exciting.
Yeah, this will be different. So I always like to pause for a little spinny thing. So we were going to Maine. Jen had a class and I tagged along. And I thought, this is 3 hours. How can we utilize this time? So I came up with a list of questions for a video for our YouTube channel that we're still trying to get off the ground. Or I'm still trying to get off the ground. And my intent was to just catch some clips of us driving up and, you know, spending time together and then sort of interviewing her along the way. Completely unprepared. So we were also recording a couple of podcasts there, and that was my focus, was to have the gear for that. And I had never done or even attempted a video like this. So we were having trouble with stabilization. The camera was all over the place. The sound was terrible. We just weren't set up for it. I just scrapped the idea, and then it clicked. Why don't we just use it for a podcast?
And here we are.
Yeah, and here we are. So, before we jump into all that fun stuff, just want to let everyone know that this episode is brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing.
Ping pong.
So, if you are in the beauty, fitness, or hair industries, reach out to Ping Pong if you're looking for more clients to fill your chairs or your gyms. If you need a website or you want someone to take a look at your website, they do all sorts of stuff. Their mission is to create marketing campaigns that inform and convert, and they're offering our audience a special discount on any website or digital marketing campaign. So check the show notes, reach out to Chris, and give them a shout. So on to the show. So Jen, I guess I'm skipping the introductions. My name is Todd. I'm here with, you already know, my wife Jen and business partner.
Hello.
Hi. So let's dive in with a little bit of an introduction. It doesn't have to be crazy long because I know your story is, you could get real long on it. Yeah. So how long have you been doing hair?
It'll be 23 years this summer. A long time.
It's a while, a couple decades.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when I say it. It doesn't feel that long. It feels like a snap. But when I look back, That's
a good thing.
Yeah, very much so. And I love it, I think, even more than, actually I know I do, than when I started, which is really cool.
So we also have been asked for some behind the scenes stuff. So I know a lot of the audience, or some of the audience, I know our staff, I know people know this version of you, but how did we arrive at this? How did we get to this version of you? Give us a little bit of a background, where, when, how, why, stuff like that.
Okay. So when I graduated high school, in my family, college. So I went to UNH, and some personal family things came up. So I left UNH to help out my family for a bit. And throughout that bit that I was helping the family, my whole goal was still college. And when I went back to my second round, I definitely had matured and had a different vision. And after my first semester, I realized one night,
and you were at UNH for business?
I was at UNH for business.
Okay.
And then I switched into social work with a minor in Spanish.
All right.
When I went back. And I did some internships in Exeter, actually, for the town, and it was not for me. Anyway, so I'm going to bed one night, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to school in the fall. I want to go to hair school. And I had remembered this pamphlet that had come in the mail, like if you need to not return in the fall, you can get your money back, or you can go on a hiatus,
sure.
whatever that is. So I literally...
Like the date, like the cutoff date.
It was like, here we are. It's like this week. So I go out and go in the trash, and I get that out, and I'm like, I'm filling this out. And that week I was at UNH, handed in my stuff. I unenrolled, and I found somebody to sublease my apartment so I didn't leave my roommates high and dry. And I went to Continental, talked to them about financial aid in that September.
What's Continental for people listening?
Continental Academy was a school.
I was going to say, what was Continental?
Yeah, they just closed. But they were, to me, the best school choice for me, had the highest rating. just seemed amazing with their whole program. So I went there, I met in their office, and they helped me with financial aid, whatever. I filled out all that, and I was enrolled for September, and then I told my parents. I think at that point...
Interesting approach, but I dig it.
Yeah, I just, in my gut, felt this was the road I needed to be on, and I didn't want to even hear the challenges that would come my way or the defeat of me not going back to college. And I knew my dad wouldn't be excited. I knew my mom would just be my cheerleader no matter what. But I just wanted to do it for me. And once I was already enrolled, no matter what came my way, that was it. I was doing it. And I was right. My dad was very not happy. And my mom was just like...
I can picture that.
Like, let her do her thing. So Continental it was. I was finishing up Continental, and I was 21 at the time, which was older for hair school. Most kids, whatever, were coming right out of high school. And I just was like, I want to dive into this, and I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to get ahead in this career as quick as possible. So I was between two salons. Both had an education program. One was very black and white, which was just you go through their cutting program. Once you pass it, you're on the floor to do cutting. You go through the color. Once you pass it, you're on the floor doing coloring. The other one was very gray, like we'll let you know how you are doing, and we'll let you know when
Toxic.
You can. Yeah, so
we need that Britney
that
Spears.
didn't work for my mindset. I like black and white. If I knew the rules, I knew the systems, I knew how to progress in it. Cool. So
that's a little too much power that they're keeping up their sleeve.
That salon still does it that way today.
Wow. Interesting. I'm going to ask off air who that is.
I will tell you. I ended up at Dellaria Salons in Salem, New Hampshire, the Rockingham Mall at the time. John Dellaria, at that point, I think had 33 locations. I assisted in Andover for a couple months at Dellaria there while I went through their haircutting program in Allston, Mass. And once I passed that, I was now officially in Salem, at least cutting hair while I was doing the color program. And that was a great salon to start at. It was fairly busy. It was in a mall. It was a great group of people, some I still keep in touch with. And as I started to progress there, I realized I wanted to pick the shifts where the most talented staff was working. So I asked to work all
You're ready for a mentor.
Yeah. So there was like 3 or 4 top people in there, and those were the shifts I worked. So I could watch them, assist them, whatever they needed. I was like on top of them. And that led me into starting to actually recruit for Dellaria, going into the schools locally and get people to come work for Dellaria. And then shortly after, actually, they needed somebody to run their color program to go into their 33 locations and teach the onboarding for staff so they could learn Framesi color and all that. And it was really interesting at the time because
how long were you doing hair before you started?
Maybe 3 years.
Teaching. Okay.
2-3 years. It was pretty early on, but I was aggressive in my approach to like, how do I do this? Like, I'll always tell people, you got to ask. Like, they won't know I'm interested in it. Like, hey, how do I get on? Luigi was my regional manager. Luigi, how do I get on this team? What do I do? He's like, you just ask. Like, then we'll put you through it. And
Seems
if you can,
to be a common theme we come up with lately.
Yeah.
Just
and
ask.
if you can do it, then you can do it. But,
the reason I wanted to grab that little tidbit is because actually 2 reasons. One, you don't have to wait until you're on year 12 to start educating.
No.
You can educate. And there's value there because you chose to educate for a reason.
I wanted to learn.
You chose to educate to learn.
At that point in my career, yeah. I wanted to learn it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And the second reason before I let you go, because your story rocks, is that we beat that because we have some people
that are doing it sooner than me.
We have one person that is 1 year in and has an opportunity to educate for a big
really
brand.
Cool.
So it is possible. You just have to be in the right situations and put yourself in the right atmosphere for those opportunities to come your way. But go ahead.
So then I didn't understand all the material. I really didn't understand how color worked. I just didn't grasp it yet, but I knew if I kept repeating it, I would understand it. And it was actually really fun. I went through all different locations throughout the Dellaria salons, teaching all ages, all different ethnicities, like people that were coming and were very Italian. Like, so like it was like working with them was like hard sometimes, but
it was just like almost Italian or a little Italian.
They were Italian.
They were very Italian.
Very Italian.
Okay, cool.
And I was working with people that were right out of school, 18, 19. And I was working with people that were in their 60s that we're there to
That's
learn.
cool. That's very
so
cool.
it was very diverse. And I was, again, 21. I looked 12. Maybe at that point I was probably 22 or 23, but I still looked like I was really young. So they still, I could deliver the material, and it was cool. It was fun, and I learned so much. So from that, I had asked a mentor in my salon at Dellaria to work with me. And what we did was every Friday morning, I'd bring in a model, and she would just critique everything and make me a better hair cutter, colorer. Her name was Taylor in my salon, but it's actually Nancy, and she still does hair. So shout out to you, because you were amazing.
So what was her style like? I'm just curious, because I was around for this, but I don't remember. Like, I don't remember you talking about it much. Like, did she come at you just blunt, or did she sugarcoat
it was
stuff?
No, it was constructive criticism. It was real. I wanted straight on, get me better.
Just give it. Yeah,
I want to
give it to me.
I want to get better. I don't need you to be. She wasn't mean, but I don't need you to be like, oh, that was good, but if you do it this way, it was just like, no, hold your hand here, stand here. Where are you standing?
Yes.
Why are you standing there?
All right, cool.
That's
more of my style.
Bring it on. Yeah,
That's awesome.
And then before I knew it, I became kind of a little like mini her in the salon, and this flippy haircut was in, and I was doing it one day, and then people would be like, oh, show me that. And I just sort of created stuff that started working for me. So, I'm recruiting at this point. I'm teaching color to all their new hires throughout 33 locations.
So you started coming up with your own twists on haircuts.
Yeah, how to get there.
Just based on playing around and seeing, like, if I do this
This
happens.
was trending, and I couldn't get the look I wanted with just a thinning shear. So how do I pull the hair to, because Taylor, whose name is Nancy, set me up to really start thinking about what are you doing in the haircut and why are you pulling it that way. So I'm like, oh, you can do whatever as long as you know why you're pulling it there and what you're creating. And
I just want to point that out for people listening, that if you're in the hair industry, learn the foundations, and you can learn them at an accelerated rate if you ditch your fucking ego.
Yeah.
And have somebody just teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Just teach you. And then you can get into the fun, creative stuff where you can bend and break some of the rules because you know what's going on.
So I think I was at Dellaria for almost 5 years. And this was really an interesting point, because I love when people tell me I can't do something. So I had bought a condo. So I must have been about 5 years. I bought a condo. And at this point, I'm telling you this point because my dad finally was proud of me. Like, wow, you did it. And I needed that, like, in the beginning. But the fact that I had a career that allowed me to purchase a home made him proud, which as a daughter, I was very happy that my dad was proud of me.
Of course.
But this is where it got crazy. I buy this condo and I start looking at my future, and I'm like, I don't want to be in a mall. I don't want to be in a chain salon. I really want to be in a prettier, nicer salon, different talent. I just wanted to spread my wings. And again, everybody around me is like, you just bought a condo, you can't leave. Oh yeah? Watch me. That was it. So a girl I went to hair school with opened a salon with another girl that I used to work at Dellaria with. And so they were like, come check out our salon. So I set up an interview, and don't think you remember this, but you drove me. I met you at like the Burger King, and you drove me over because I was so nervous. So you drove me to the salon in Wyndham.
I don't remember this.
Yeah,
We've
I
talked
went in.
about it.
I know.
I just don't remember.
It's clear as day to me because I was so nervous. And I went in.
And I was probably drinking a shake or something. Like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't even know why I'm here.
So I go in the salon, interview. The salon is beautiful. I really wanted to work with Candace again because she was, again, another mentor early in my career at Dellaria.
Okay.
And she was so talented. So I was like, this is my place. And this was the day and age, though, where we're talking, I think I might have had a cell phone. There was no Facebook, no Instagram. There was MySpace, but I didn't have that. So I'm telling you this because now I'm leaving Dellaria, and how do I tell my clients where I'm going? Like, you can't just do that.
Right. This was the old school. When people talk about clients now, well, how will my clients find me? I laugh.
I had a phone book. And what I did was I decided I would go to the new salon in January. So I would do my own Christmas cards for the Christmas season. And in it was, Merry Christmas, I'm moving. You need to book your next appointment at this salon. So there's two parts here.
Gotcha.
Those people want to open the card where they're sitting in my chair, and I'm like, no, open that in your car.
No,
don't open that here, please.
That's for you.
And then they'd be checking out to reschedule, and I'm like, yeah, sure, and just open that card when you get in the car. But now I have to assume they're going to call the other salon because there's no way for me to help them throughout all this process. So it was a very different time when you were leaving a salon and trying to gather your clientele. So I leave. It was very interesting. I talked to Taylor, who was my mentor. before I left just to say thank you for everything. And she wished me the best of luck, and it was great. And we still have a relationship today. So
when you leave a salon, you don't have to completely burn a bridge and talk a bunch of shit?
No, I actually stayed in touch with everybody there that I was close with. I know.
Is that an old school thing? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's a gen school thing. Like, I think you should do what you want to do, and people should be happy for you.
Exactly.
That was such a cool time period too. So anyway, I go to, we'll call it Salon 2 in Wyndham, and I miss educating. So their brand they aligned with there was Joico. So I quickly figure out how to get on the Joico team. And I am going to Connecticut to do their trainings that get released twice a year, working under Tabitha Coffey, which was very cool.
Yeah, super cool.
She's really strict. If I thought someone was strict before, she's even more strict. Most people cry.
We've talked about this before, but for people that have seen her on television, she had a show.
Yeah.
And that's her.
Yeah.
That's not a character.
She was one, if you weren't really going to be an educator, like, you're not going to make it through any of her stuff. It's not going to happen. And some people might think that's mean, but she was just trying to raise for Joico the best educators they were putting out there. Yep. So now I'm educating for Joico, and I'm in Wyndham, which was cool. But in most salons, and I don't know where they are today, but at that time, we were running out of color left, right. And not because it was back ordered, not like where today's standards are. Just they weren't ordering, we didn't have foils.
There's no pandemic back in my day.
Yeah. And it was like this point where I'm like, I'm charging decent money for my clients, and I don't have the right stuff or the tools to do it. And shortly thereafter, realized this partnership between the two partners there were breaking up. And I didn't know they were breaking up, but I knew that things at this salon were not working for me. So I left. And I figured there was another salon in town. I had heard the owner was insane, but I'm like, I feel like right now I'm working in a crazy environment. Again, I didn't know that the partnership was breaking up, but it just was very toxic. So I took a job at a salon around the corner and just was like, well, crazy is crazy. I can figure this out. So I go to Salon 3, and this owner is legit fucking crazy. Like, batshit crazy I'd never seen. I only lasted less than 9 months at this salon. But again, I want to educate. So I get this owner to bring in Bumble and Bumble as their retail line. And I go out to New York, and I'm out in New York learning with Bumble and Bumble. And now I'm training with Bumble and Bumble. And I come back to do their product knowledge, and I come back to do their styling portion and to teach that in the salon I was at and other salons local. So that was freaking cool. Bumble and Bumble was cool. I couldn't believe I was part of that team. That had been something that I really wanted. And I fought for that and got it. But now I'm in the most toxic salon I had ever been in my life. And I literally, in my meetings, the owner and her husband were like, you don't go out and drink enough with the staff. So not like you're doing
cool.
Nothing to do with my in-salon. I don't go out and drink enough with the staff. So here I signed a non-compete, a 20-page non-compete. Fuck that. Never had a lawyer look at it, and just signed it. So I'm like, what does it matter?
You know what's messed up? I was picturing a different salon in my head.
Now you know which one.
Yes.
Okay. So I realized in this
non-compete. I remember
non-compete,
that 20-page non-compete.
Yeah, I have a 10-mile radius. This salon now is going to try to move locations and has been very aggressive to tell me they need me to do it. And I have to go with them. And I don't love that either. I don't want to be why you do something. So I knew I had to leave. So I have to be 10 miles out of this salon. So I'm looking all around, and actually the owner of Salon 2, who has now in the middle of getting her partnership to go away, helped me find Salon 4. So that was cool. And that ends up being in Hudson, New Hampshire. So I'm going to bring up the non-compete real quick because
this is important. So grab your notebooks, people.
I went the 10 miles. I hired an attorney first. I said, I have a non-compete. I can't find all the paperwork. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lawsuit coming at me because this lady's insane and she's known to sue people. So I hire him. The day I'm leaving, I'm 10 miles out. I don't contact any clients that didn't come with me to this salon. And I knew those two things were in it. And I have the manager watch me pack up my stuff and I leave. So I'm now going, that's Salon 3 to Salon 4 in Hudson, New Hampshire, which was a little hole in the wall. I get sued, and this is where it gets crazy. The lawsuit comes in because I stole my own property from that salon because in my non-compete 20-page, whatever it was, it said that once you bring your things into there, it now becomes property of salon number 3. So I won. They don't get to keep my stuff. But
can I point out the date?
Yeah.
So they found out we were getting married.
Yep.
We were getting married in St. Croix.
Yep.
On October 13th. Mm-hmm. And they tried to have us or you in court around that date.
Yeah, on purpose.
Which the judge said, go fuck yourself, basically, to them. But
stupid.
That's the level of petty.
It was
that you were
bad.
dealing with.
It was bad. And so at the end of the day, the lawyer cost me more, but that Salon 3 owner owed me a couple $100 for stuff she did illegally by taking money out of my check. And yeah.
So watch your back, shady owners that think you can operate in these gray areas because you fucking can't, and it's wrong.
This became crazy,
and you will
too.
get called out and caught.
In the non-compete.
And I'll laugh like that.
In the non-compete, it also said I was not allowed to talk to any of the previous staff in that salon. So this got tricky because, like I said, I left all salons in good shape. My lawyer very much advised me, please do not talk to that staff. Like this lady is insane, and we've done everything, but I need you
just
to
because
not.
We don't want to keep dealing with this again and again.
So now this was hard when I had some of them reach out and I had to ignore them, and I know that it like hit hard. Probably like she's just probably a bitch or whatever. But
because you
my
have
hands
them,
were tied.
You have the owners also talking smack and.
So I had to literally just cut that salon and cut that staff. I wasn't there long, but you still make relationships.
Of course, yeah.
And I made good ones that actually came to me after to help, wanted to work with me later on in life. So I'm in Salon 4. This lady, this is going to sound like a me problem now because now I'm starting to get into people's like lives that are just insane. This lady was...
I remember this one too.
So I am here for maybe, I think, a year at this place.
And this is a rental situation.
This is a rental finally.
Okay.
And my also non-compete from Salon 3 is that I have to follow all of the rules that we agreed to for 1 year. So that put me into like April of the following year. So I'm in Salon 4. She sees how busy I am and basically is trying to now take away the rental for commission. So, okay, I just remembered what happened. She said God spoke to her and she needs to make her salon.
In a dream, right?
In a dream.
I remember this story.
And, this is just
Which is
her
fine.
dream. Yep.
Totally cool.
So commission is where we're going to go, and this is that, whatever. Anyway, so
you're in a rental salon. She just decides she's a commission salon.
She took the hours down. Was like, you can't have this. Give me your key back. You can't do this. And so now here I am again, looking for my.
You can't do this. Remember what happened last time? Someone said you can't do this.
Yes, I don't love you can't do this. I don't love when people come against me. I'm just gonna push through you. Okay, so now I'm looking for Salon 5. And I live in Londonderry, so I figured going to Londonderry makes the most sense. But I had to be strategic here because Salon 4, I still am under contract to obey their non-compete. So I strategically pick to move on the same day that Salon 4 is opening their brand new salon because I figure she's not going to worry about the contract that I'm still under with her because she's going to be...
Salon 3 you're talking about contract, right? Because they were moving.
Yes.
Not
Sorry.
Salon 4.
Yes, Salon 3's contract. They're moving their salon.
You're still under that because it's less than a year.
It's less than a year.
Okay.
So I'm going to move the same day they move to their new salon so that I'm under the radar. I'm not going to be a thought for them. So that's what I do. And I moved to a small booth rental salon in Londonderry, attached to a gym where at one point Todd and I work under the same roof, which was actually really cool. And
probably was a little bit of a catalyst for where we're at today.
Yeah, for sure.
It was cool.
So it was very cool. I actually built my clientele up there because Todd's clients ended up coming to me, and it was just a fun flow from Todd to I. I actually probably was the most fun I had had in a while in my career. At this point, now I'm renting. I'm wearing friggin' so many hats. Education is never even a thought in my mind. I just didn't even think to go back to it. I'm just surviving and working. That was it.
But you're renting, so you made it.
Yeah, I think that was it. And then I just was bored. I just rented and did hair, and that was that. So eventually that salon decides to move. And at this point, it is not in my best interest to go with them because they want me to sign another contract and I'm not doing it.
Oh, that's right, because they were moving. They
wanted to move to a
Gotcha.
different location. So I
remember
at
that,
the time am working with my soon-to-be business partner, not Todd, one in between. And so we both decide we're not signing it. And we were just honest. And when you leave this location, we're going to stay here. Like, that's just what we're going to do. Don't want to be a jerk, be honest. She's like, oh, we can talk on Monday. So we meet, Tuesday, because I had clients. We meet Tuesday morning. She doesn't show up. She sends her husband. Our stuff is packed. And she said, you can go. So there's to being honest. And okay. So
Toxic ass.
Yep.
Biatch.
I will tell you.
So this is why a lot of people are afraid to be honest with.
Yeah.
With owners or managers or whatever.
Because here you
this
are.
is how they're fucking treated. Can't treat people this way. I mean, you can if you want to be an asshole.
Yeah. But in hindsight, all of these things do lead to good things. At the time, though, some of those times, I was crying in my closet upstairs. Like, I couldn't handle another move. I didn't want to tell my clients again. None of this was easy for me, I will say. Like, it was very stressful.
No, there's only so many hits you can take.
Yeah, like, we'd have to have a fire at night to, like, literally talk me off the ledge. Because I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep leaving. I can't keep moving. I don't want to keep moving. But things just weren't falling in the right place for me. So we're talking, it's Tuesday morning. It's probably 8 o'clock. I have clients booked at, let's say, noon. My stuff is now in a parking lot. What do? You know what I do?
I know what you do, but tell the people listening.
I call someone that I know has a salon down the road and I said, I need a job. Can I come work for you? And you know what she says? Sure, come in today. I'm like, great. Call up my clients. Today you're going to be here at noon, but you're going to be at this location. Didn't even skip a fucking beat, man. That was it.
Sometimes you just got to handle business.
Yep. So she was like, come in, you can rent here. We'll figure it out. So, and then I said, well, I have a friend. She got kicked out too. And she's like, bring her along. Cool. Dial it up. Here you are, friend. Let's go. We're going down the street now. We can keep working. I'm sure it pissed off everybody.
Problem solved. Oh yeah. People think if I can. Yeah, of course.
So now we're in this location.
It's one of my favorite things to do, by the way.
Yeah. So
like
we're
my
in this salon. And we're there for a few months, and that salon wanted to move to a new location. So
son of a.
Here we are. They're like, do you want to take over the lease? We want to leave. You can have it. You just have to take over the rest of it, and then you can re-sign it, and we're going to go down the street. I'm like, is this real life? So my friend at the time is like, do you want to be partners? Do you want to work for me? And I'm like, I'm not fucking working for you. So I guess we're partners. Let's do this. Literally, no joke here. We closed down, and in 10 days, we bust ass, get this place up and running, and we open as a brand new salon in this location. 10 days.
We
killed it.
Took the place down. We took the flooring out. We removed walls.
Yep.
And I did this, and I was running back to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I was still at the gym coaching a client. And then when I had a break, I would fly up the road, grab whatever the fuck we needed at Home Depot, because no one knew what they were actually doing.
No, it was a shit show, but we did it. We were committed. We had
handled it.
Friends
business.
at a local bar that we used to frequent. And one night we went in after doing everything and we were exhausted. And they were like, where do you need help? The bar owner went into the salon that night to help finish stuff. And the next morning there were 5 people from the bar that were like, just helping. I'll paint whatever you need.
I remember that morning.
People were helping. Like it was amazing.
That was like one of those magic moments of your life.
Like, just let me help you.
People just were walking in with like toolkits and stuff. And they were like, I don't know where I can help, but just
show me.
Tell the group what needs to be done and we'll get it done. It was amazing.
Crazy. So that became, for those of you that don't know, Eco Salon, and I owned it for 10 years. And I can say this because...
And then I came along.
My partner at the time agreed, and this is where the fallout came, that I did 80% of the work, if not more, for majority of the time in that business. And there was a point where in the beginning I thought it was fun. I just want to own a salon. I became aware very quickly that the partnership was not honest, but I wanted to own a salon. And I kept that to myself because I knew if I spoke it out loud, people would be like, what the F are you doing?
By people, she means me.
Yep. So I trucked along and I had my 3 children, which for those of you that have kids, it's kind of like a blackout period in your life. You're literally growing a tiny human and then you don't sleep and then you grow another one and then you don't sleep. And then here we are. I had 3 of those. So once I had my 3rd child, I really looked at the business as a whole, and I was in my 40s now. And I'm like, I can't continue this way of life with this partner where it's very unfair. I'm doing everything.
A partnership that's not a true partnership.
Not at all. And it just came to light because I was like, what's next? I have the rest of my career and I just want different things than this partner wants. And there was just a lot of things that were not honest in the partnership. So we had gotten through, I think, 3 apprentices. Like we had done some really amazing things that I'm very proud of, worked with some amazing people that I miss, but it was my time. So I went to her and said, I don't want to do this anymore. So Todd, you came into at the end and really, I think, shed some light on stuff that I knew wasn't going well and that I didn't really understand. It was just like stuff that didn't make sense. And you pieced out within 3 months. Like this just...
I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no way of...
It was bad and
we couldn't change it.
I couldn't figure out how to unfuck it.
Yeah, we couldn't get through some of the toxic employees that were there. They just couldn't do it. Just couldn't. It was... I'm stuttering because it was so stressful. So I go to my partner and just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And she just is like, you're just stressed. Because I had said this a few times within the partnership because I had so much on my plate and she wouldn't help me. And she wouldn't be a partner and step up to the plate. And if she did, it was for a very short time period. So that night, I called a mediator that actually was our mediator at the beginning of the business and asked if she would meet with us because it wasn't being understood clearly what I wanted. So we go into that meeting and basically she's like, you know, this is what Jen wants. This is what you want. Jen wants you to have what you want, but that's not what she wants. So if you want to move in this direction, you're doing it without Jen. Do you understand that? And she said, yes, I do. And I want this. Well, fuck me. I guess I'm of no importance at all. So truly, I'm out. And that started the beginning of the end of that partnership that kind of is still finishing up currently. So it was pretty crazy. And then there was a pandemic.
Years later. Years.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer.
Yeah, that was the most stressful time in my life. There were times where I thought I was having a heart attack. There were times where I was having panic attacks. I would call you and you're like, you're fine. I'm like, should I just go to the hospital? Like, I can't even explain the stress that I was under during that time period. And I also was like, I rented a chair right underneath my Eco salon.
Just so if people can't picture this, you walk out of the front door of Eco, which is where Jen owned. You take a left and you go down a flight of stairs and you're at the door. So when she says under, in the same building, just a different floor.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, that
was fun because the parking lot's all in the same area. So that's stressful.
I had previous...
And your fucking staff, your old staff at that point would show up.
Come in and say hi.
They would miss you.
Yeah. It was crazy. I could dive into that more, but I think...
We'll do it on another...
Yeah, it just... The people that helped me, like I had old coworkers that was my boss at one time. She helped me find that salon underneath. She's like, hey, I just saw this listing. Like people that had been through it or understood it, they were there and were like, we'll help you get through this. And then we decided to open Hello. And
that's part of the reason we're telling this story is because you're not alone. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're stressed and you're crying and you're fucking having a breakdown, whether you're, a tough guy barber or a stylist or a tough guy stylist. Doesn't matter. And
those people helped me because I reached out to them. I asked for help.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do everything alone.
And I will say this too. I got burned. I did reach out to someone and ask for help, and she decided to air my business all over. And I thought as a business owner to a business owner, she would be respectful and professional. And she did the complete opposite. And I learned from that too. And I'm a better person all around.
For sure. Fuck them.
Yep.
All the toxic people that, I think it comes from the scarcity mindset. Most of that stuff is just thinking like, if I can take someone out, that's all I can come up with.
And I'm good at pivoting and innovative. And I said, don't get me wrong. I cried. It was rough, but at the end of the day was like, I am doing this. And
still here, bitches.
Yeah, I will rise up and I'm going to fucking kill it. Okay, that was a long answer. Hopefully you all enjoyed my story. It's a good one.
That was like a 30-minute intro that led into thanks for listening. No, so we actually, do you need a break? You want a minute or you want to roll through this?
Love it. Let's
roll through. So I have a list of questions and some of them have a little bit, Jen doesn't know the questions still from our trip. Some of them have a little bit of a negative spin on them because I think there's a lot of fluff out there. Like, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite color? No one gives a shit. Like, let's talk about, while we're on the subject and we're being real.
Yeah, bring it.
Let's talk about some real stuff. So my first question to Jen, and if you have follow-ups or you want to throw in anything or ask me anything, cool, but you don't have to. What aspect of owning a business do you least enjoy?
Oh. The finances. Interestingly enough, when I owned Eco, it was managing the staff. With Hello, you and I blew it out of the park on just how to make it as seamless as possible and hiring the right people. So with Hello, we make it look so easy that I think people are like, everyone should own a salon, but
It's hard.
It's the day-to-day of like paying the rent. Is there enough money coming in? Is there enough money to do what we want? Is there, like, that part is so stressful. And then you have staff that's coming and going and you have to pivot around that. And there's a part of that that's just very exhausting, which is why I love that you and I are starting to build a better, stronger foundation where it's not just the salon and there's other legs to our business that will eventually make the financial part in a different light.
Sure. So just to put that into context, with a salon, if you're unaware, money trickles in day to day to day to hour to minute to minute. When I had my gym, for example, I had everything on auto pay. So boom, first of the month, everyone gets charged. By the third, maybe all the money drops into my account, and that's my money to operate. In a salon, like it's like, well, it's slow this week. Shit, what are we gonna do? Yeah. And it's like, you have to do a little bit of balancing. And there was a pandemic.
Like we opened, it was
a brand new business, not reopened a business.
No, it was brand new, and I had to wrap my mind around it. I've also had to wrap my mind around it's a marathon, like the financial part though. And we don't run our business on credit. We invested our money in this business, and then we have loans for our equipment and stuff, but we don't buy stuff that we can't afford. So that's rough too when you want certain things. You just can't. Yeah, we operate on the money we have, which means some stuff's not today. So
I don't want a hard no on what I just said either. Like if you're opening a bakery, for example, and you don't have the money for $150,000 oven or whatever, I'm just throwing numbers out.
Yeah.
You're probably going to need some credit for that.
Yeah.
Totally
like
cool.
I said, we have our loans for equipment and stuff, but not for stuff that's not necessary right now.
All right. Next question.
Okay.
So talk to me about a struggle you had before opening. So maybe this is something from the design phase or the build out or just before we opened.
So remind you, I'm literally in a shit show of my divorce from Eco. So my struggles were across the board, getting my creativity back and getting my drive back to want to do this. So the design was tough because it's such a creative aspect of the salon. And so
yes,
we would meet in a coffee shop that to me was super cool to at least try to get my mindset off all my fucking shit outside of it and really just get creative. And that helped a lot. And then Todd would help me with the vision part because I was getting stumped on certain things that just I couldn't get through my mindset and had to have clarity for that. That was one. I remember even as stupid as the wall color. You painted the wall and it looked green. And I think we were under so much stress.
It was the gray that
we
looked
almost
green.
Cried. And then the next day we went in and it was freaking the most beautiful gray you ever could see. But yeah, I guess the design part was really tricky.
We also didn't have correct temperature lighting in there.
Yeah.
We didn't have our flooring in. We were just,
That was a struggle. Luckily, we had the money saved to do what we wanted to do. So I guess it was great that wasn't on the plate. But for sure, designing the actual middle piece to make it look aesthetically what we both wanted and functional. So that took a while to
I explained that piece to part of our staff
it's a cool
the other
story.
day, and they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that could be another. It's a very cool story.
Yeah, we had to make this work.
Yeah. Because I didn't want like PVC coming from the ceiling for all the wires. So,
get out of here.
We made it look very cool and it's very functional.
All right. What is something you wish you could snap your fingers and instantly improve? And let's keep it in regard to your role in the business.
I wish I had more time in the salon to be with the staff and help their careers move forward quicker.
Cool answer. I like that. All right, let's dive into it. What is your greatest weakness?
when you talk like fight or flight, I will run majority of the time from a problem that I just can't handle at that moment. That's just my reactivity. I wish that I could just say, hey, give me a minute, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. But I somehow just like run away from it. I'm getting better, but that would be my biggest weakness right now. So I actually, over the last, I'll say month or so, am really getting better at communicating all of that stuff.
So a pause, but not a pause as you're running away, like an active pause so that you can appreciate the moment and then figure out what to do.
Yeah, where
gotcha.
A lot of times previously I just would try to forget about all of it as if it's going to solve itself. But guys, I'm 44 years old and I literally like just had a conversation with Todd, like, I need help with this, or I need to get better at this. And like, that's not always easy to do, like to just reveal all your flaws. Now, he probably sees them every day, but for me to see them and
I don't see any flaws at all, none.
And then to ask for help because I want to better myself. Like that's a hard place to live, but it's one you need to if you really want to grow.
I agree with that. I think that's a great answer too. And you didn't ask, but I'm constantly working on that stuff too. I think it's a lifelong thing. It's not a lifelong learning thing. It's in, and it's difficult to explain sometimes, but it's there. Mm-hmm. And by just saying that, hopefully someone else is like, oh, this is normal. Yeah. Like I'm not losing my shit. No, we're humans.
Yeah.
And stuff piles up. It gets hard. It
does.
All right. Tell me about a past decision that turned out to be a mistake.
So I would say thinking that aligning with brands becomes the brand of your business, when in true reality, the business, Hello, is its own brand. And then now I look at it as, are you cool enough to be part of it?
Yeah. That, just so people are listening, that's literally, those are our conversations. First of all, is this shit cool?
Yeah.
Second of all, give it to me and I'll be the judge of that.
Yes.
Third of all, I might use it on a couple clients and see.
Yes. Such a transition.
Fourth,
for me.
I might get it into the hands of some of my staff to play with. Yeah, there's a little bit of a process, and that.
When we first opened, I thought it was like, what brands are we carrying? Who's gonna, like, this is gonna bring in business? And now I'm like, no, we're gonna make it so Hello brings in the business, and then I'll see if you can sit and play within it.
Or if you're gonna go fuck off over in the corner.
Yep, because that's happened too.
So
that's a nice place to be.
I've always had a little bit of a chip, a big chip on my shoulder. And I feel like recently in the past couple of years, Jen's gained a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, especially when it comes to realizing that, what we're building is a brand. Yeah. We don't need a brand to ride on.
Right.
We're the brand.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
For sure.
All right. Where are we? Here we are. How difficult is it to separate the emotion when making a business decision? And do you?
I am an emotional person, so it's becoming better with learning how to pause. And now that we have our mission and core values, you and I can talk through something like, you'll say to me sometimes like, that doesn't fit what we're trying to do. And I'm like, get so frustrated. And you're like, well, make it fit. What do we need to do? Do we need to pivot and realign our values? Or does this company, like, how does that fall into it? Like, figure it out, because all of those things are hand in hand. Like, remove the emotion, take it out, get your fucking shit together. And does the business not fit? Like this product you want to bring in, whatever it is, like, is this like really going to be something you want? So do we need to reevaluate this side? Or
this could be offering a new service. This could be anything
we do. But I used to be all emotional, like literally lose my mind emotional. And now I might lose it a little, but I can pause, bring it back down to the business level of like, is this really good for the business? Or do you just want it because it's cool? And if you want it because it's cool, does it fit because that's part of what we're trying to do? Or like, where does that sit? So I'm able now to be less emotional, but I do sometimes get a little heated when there's something I really want and I can't figure out how to like get it.
So Jen doesn't like to hear the word no. And we're 50-50 partners, and that makes it tough because I'm very much a person that will I'll pull them up. I'll pull up our core values onto my laptop and stare at them.
But it keeps me honest. It's good. It's a good place to be.
Or I'll take a walk down the yellow hall where we have them posted in the salon, and just think, even it's usually like 30 seconds because I look and I'm like, it doesn't fit. The answer is no. Yeah. We're not doing it. I think on our first podcast ever, you talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's just, if it doesn't fit our core value, or we both talked about it. If it doesn't fit our core values, it's too risky. The answer is no. Yeah. We don't fucking do it.
And that does help remove the emotion. And it also, it's so great because it allows me to pause and make better decisions.
2 more questions here, unless anything pops up last minute.
Okay.
Because this is interesting. And I think people will find this interesting.
I hope so.
At least I hope they do. Yeah. So let's just open the can of worms.
Oh boy.
What is your least favorite part of the industry as a whole?
Oh. That's a big one. I think you've stumped me here. I did good so far, flowing.
That's okay.
I'm not sure there's probably a biggest. I could probably answer this differently if you asked me every other day. Currently, I'm going to say it's social media and the misinformation that goes out. So I'll give you an example. Don't box dye your hair. So we have a young staff, very impressionable. So when anyone calls and says
ruffle some feathers, folks,
something about box dye, immediately they go to like the world's ending. We have had in the last 2 weeks, I think 3 or 4 people that came with box dye on, and I've helped them formulate. I've walked them through the steps to do it, and they're like, "Whoa, that came off so easy, and came out so beautiful." Like, I don't know why you guys have this misinformation of that box dye is the worst thing ever to use, and that you can't get somebody where they want to go in their hair goals. You might not get it that first visit, but there's still ways to get around it, and there's no need to shame the box dye. Fucking box dye your hair all you want. Who cares?
It's your hair.
And if you don't want to fix box dye, just be like, you're not my type of client. Just go see so-and-so. But it's been very cool to see the minds like getting blown up at our salon when they start to now correct this. And it's a lot easier process than they thought because social media made them believe it was going to be the worst thing ever.
So just like in marketing, how sex sells, I think the boogeyman sells too.
So I'm constantly on an uphill battle to fight all of these, like this bad avatar in social media world to teach my staff that's not real, except I'm one person and social media is this ginormous, amazing, beautiful place that they want to live in. So like they do believe me for most of the time, but I had it happen the other day. One of our staff, she second guessed everything I said. And then she finally did it my way. And she's like, why didn't I just listen to you? But I'm like, you have to learn on your own too. I'm here to give you the information.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you do it my way. And you just learned a great piece of information by following what you thought was right, because who knows whether it was social media or whatever. And then when you did it the way that like it's foundationally, I showed her stuff I'd done. She finally believed me.
Does that stuff come from school at all? Or
I'm sure there's so many parts to it.
Because the people that are teaching in schools, some of them, at least locally, are not educators or teachers. They're just fill-in people that they're plopping in, and they're also social media driven folks. Which is, if you're into social media, it's totally cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm actually working on a little project right now with social media.
It's great. I just realized it's not reality all the time. Like it's there for fun. The other part I will say that really drives me insane is that people come out of school just thinking they're going to make all the money and going to be the busiest ever. And I don't know where that came from, because you have to build your clientele. I had a great conversation with one of our staff the other day. And I said, you go to college for 4 years. The whole time you're in college, you probably
grab your notebooks, people, because this point right here is something that you haven't thought about. I guarantee.
You have a side gig for a job. So you're in school for 4 years, paying a buttload of money. Then you come out and you probably get a career that gives you a salary, but you have to pay back all of the loans you just took out. And now you're at the bottom of the barrel, working your way up. Probably not even in the first job you wanted. You go to hair school. It's about a year. And if you look at it this way, you have 3 years working in the field, building up your career. So when you come out of and you're into like year 5, which is where everyone else out of college is just starting, your career should be booming. You should be making great money, have a great clientele, raising your prices, getting paid amazing, and you're way ahead of everyone else and loving what you do. Loving what you do.
I don't talk to a lot of the traditional college route people that stayed on their plan. I'm sure there's a ton out there, right? but I don't talk to a lot of them. I want to jump back just for 1 second, and I know this is getting a little long for the show. But how do you feel, and I already know, but why, or how do you feel about people telling people not to do stuff? And we saw this a lot over the pandemic. We would see stuff on social media that would say like, not just box tie, but you want to cut your bangs? Go ahead, but don't come back to me. I'm not fixing them. From stylists in the area. Why? Why the fuck are you telling people what to do? And in the middle of a pandemic.
You're not in charge.
No, it's their body. One. Two, they're in the middle of a pandemic. They're locked down. They want to feel fucking normal or something.
Help them.
So instead of trashing people.
We put out a whole series of that. Like, if you're going to cut your bangs, just don't cut too much. Leave enough so I can fix it.
Right.
It's your hair. Do whatever you want. I have people that come in all the time like, I cut my own hair. I'm like, cool, it's yours. I'll do what I can to add to it. You did a great job. I'm not judging you. It's not my hair.
Even if they didn't do a great job, they're not a professional.
Care.
You're the professional, so fucking suck it up and fix it. Or move on from the client. But don't trash people.
No, it's not a good look.
So you touched on it a little bit, but my final question for you, Jen.
Okay.
What mistake do you see new stylists and barbers making who are coming right out of school? And a mistake, mistakes.
They try to do too much too soon, spread themselves way too thin. So currently it's like you're coming out of school and you're like, I'm going to foil, I'm going to balayage, I'm going to haircut. Now that all is under like a stylist thing, but now I want to do lash lifts and lash extensions and hair this, and I want to do facials. Like you're not going to get good at one thing if you
And we're not talking about great. We're talking about entry level good.
Yeah,
you're just
good.
not going to get there.
So, I mean, I've had my staff, like, I want to go take a lash extension class, like whatever. Cool. Let me focus you on hair first. Unless you just decided I want to do lashes now. If that's where you want to do, let's focus there. But you came here to do hair. So let's get you good at hair. And once you can do hair really good, we're building up, let's add another tool in your toolkit. But not all the tools at once, because you're gonna get so overwhelmed and you're never gonna progress very well in one thing.
Right. I want to point out too, at Hello, the way we structure things, we offer a lot of freedom, but there is that responsibility and there is that final say that comes from the top. If something's going to harm the business, it's a no.
Yeah.
And just because we don't have anyone currently that's doing this, I don't think. But just because you go take a class doesn't mean you're offering that.
No.
At our salon.
No, I need
to see that.
Yeah.
I need to
what does that
understand
look like?
what the whole client experience looks like when the client books, or from, I should say, when the client books to the moment they arrive to, do they understand what's happening? Like I need to see everything. And you taking an online class or even an in-person class doesn't guarantee that you're going to offer that at our business.
Right. Because it may not fit what we're doing.
Right. Correct. Anything else that you want to add?
Oh, I'm sure I could go on and on, but I think that's a lot of information.
That was a little bit longer than normal for us, and I think we can wrap it there.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
So if you're still here listening, hit subscribe if you haven't.
Like, comment. I'd love
hit
to hear all
the
about
little
it.
download button. That helps too. Don't forget to check out our friends at Ping Pong.
Ping Pong.
And here's our little guy, Ollie. Perfect timing, buddy.
And reach out if you need help. We're here for you.
Yeah, reach out.